started off as a real quiet little morning for us. Constant rain here in Trin City. I guess all parts of Trinidad must be under water right now from heaven. Of course, the plants are going to enjoy it. I could see Mama Lou's little garden across there, willing to be, you know, willing to sprout. Skies are pretty overcast. The hill is there. It's a lovely, lovely morning. Levers, Exoras are doing pretty good here. Exoras in the neighbors' yards, they're also thriving well. Rainy day. I said to Mama Lou earlier this morning, curled up in bed, Mama Lou, I don't want to go to school today. I guess a lot of parents must be facing this dilemma this morning. I don't want to go to school today. Who wants to go to work in this kind of weather? That sounds unproductive, doesn't it? But the truth is, like that kiss truck, as you call it, you could call it a kiss in the rain, full speed ahead. When I was at the NP doing transport, I really didn't want to be called out to work in a morning like this. I really didn't want to be called out to work. I want to just show you also something, a bird here, right perched right on that fence there. Can you see it? It's perched right here. It's taking the water. Probably had a warm night. A dove a while ago was walking on the opposite pavement, pecking at things, looking for a meal. Because life goes on, despite the rain, the storm, the snow, the hail, life must go on. So, coming back to what we were talking about there, about going to work. I never really cared. Now watch it. I don't know if I can catch it. But there's the bird again. So it moved from the fence to the edge of the roof, and it's having a drink of water. God meeting all needs. And God meets all needs really in the world. He meets all needs. It's very hard, and I admire people who have to face work today and who are diligently pursuing it. My heart goes out because I know it was not easy to get up, start the truck, load up the tarpaulin, drive off in the rain, meet the traffic, get on to NP, get the invoices. And when you got out there, it was sometimes difficult to get loaded. Because when you're loading drums of oil, they're all stacked in the open. And therefore, not everybody is going to be willing to brave the weather to get a truck loaded. And consider that you have to go places like Point Fortin, you have to go Carcass to deliver lubricants because business goes on. So that was pretty tough. But here's to all those who valiantly pursue their job. This is a bit of coffee left. I got up and I try not to drink coffee every morning again, it being a diuretic, it kind of it passes through the system fast and it's kind of uncomfortable. But this morning it called for coffee. I remember being in Venezuela and we were coming from Caracas to La Guiria. and it was cold in the bus, one of those big buses. Mama Lou, morning.
Morning. Ready for bed, boy?
Ready for bed? Yes, I'm doing something short here.
I go back and see.
Okay, darling, you go ahead. Yes, Mama Lou came out here. She's going in there with a cup of coffee and maybe a sandwich. She says she's back to bed. She had it tough too, you know. When we bought our first truck, Mama Lou was forced then to drive to work, carrying the kids to school. And I used to be worried about her because I would think, you know, can Mama Lou handle the wheel and get into Port of Spain and make the rounds to Belmont and then down into Woodbrook and then back to Independence Square? Oh, Mama Lou. But she was brave. So, what was I saying? I've forgotten my trend of thought. Anyway, the thought is about getting out of bed and going to work. Quite a feat. Quite a feat. And they've always talked in this country about staggered hours. I've never seen it come to pass. But we Trinidadians naturally, we stagger to get to work. Some might reach early, some late, some very late. And then 4 o'clock, everybody's early and leaving. You think of those who are selling doubles now, who are selling pies. They're facing the rain because life goes on. So I guess many will be looking forward to retirement, and hopefully they will gain it. Yes. Oh, I was saying yes. Thank you. As I squeeze this cup to my chest, I remember now, we were traveling from Caracas to La Guiria. Might have been about 12 hours or so. And when we were nearing Guiria, you know, dawn was up, and there was a man standing in the yard of his place. Very poor, humble dwelling place. And he stood there with a cup of coffee in his hand, no doubt, because, you know, Venezuelans love their coffee. And because the bus was cold, I spied the steam coming out of his cup. And would you believe I envy that man that one cup of coffee? Which puts me into this zone now of envy. You know, they say envy is the rottenness of the bones. I cannot boast of not being envious. I don't believe that when I went to NP and others were getting big trips, big loads, I never envied them. When I had to go far and they were going near, that is the other truckers, I don't think I envy them, because I always felt that the Lord will see us through and will take care of us. But there are little pockets of envy that we all carry. I don't think I envy anybody's home, but I find myself nowadays facing a little situation where I might be envying the unexpected. So it is something that we all have to work on. This question of not envying. Even the express, you know, when I was young and just 18 years old, I had to learn fast how to do layout work, how to write for the public. I never envied those who knew how to do it. It was a learning process. I never envied. I never envied the skill of my brother Owen. He was a very good journalist, a very good layout man, a very good editorial writer, very, very good at projects, that is newspaper projects. I never envied him really. But yet I find myself nowadays, and I didn't go into what I envy, but just to show at this later stage of life how envy is something just waiting to be tapped, waiting to get a little, a little boost. But if we are trusting in the Lord, and we know what the Lord requires, a humble, caring, charitable life, He'll give us the strength. When we think about the raindrops, falling here, some drops are heavier than others, but they're all adding to the growth of where it falls. Some might fall on the lawn, some will fall in the drain and be carried out, shuttled up down the road to the drain, the bigger drain down there. And there goes a dad, no doubt carrying his kids for transport, faithfully every morning. And I appreciate parents who really, they have the children's interest at heart. They want to see them do well, so they go out there with the kids. I really admire parents who, there goes another parent. People are braving the weather, doing what they have to do because careers are expected, qualifications have to be gained. So as parents, they are doing the right thing. Recently, I was thinking about a question that Leva asked me sometime before her death. She said, "Dad, would you always be happy to help Mommy? Would you be there always to support her? That is while we live, of course. Would you be there to make sure that she's all right?" And I said, "Leva, I have always supported your mother. I have no idea why you are afraid that things might change now. After some time, you fear that I would not be kind to her, supportive of her." And I said, "Yes, I will take care of your mom as much as I can possibly do." And I believe that she loved her mother so much that she wanted me to assure her that I'll be there for Louise. She wanted me to guarantee her that I would be a pillar for her mother. And it set me thinking, about children and parents. There have been some stories circulating lately, I find, of children not being kind to their parents. Some dads have died. Some children have not been kind to their mother. Some mothers have died. Some children are not kind to their fathers. But if it is one thing that God will really expect, is that parents will be honored. But the responsibility is not only for the children, the responsibility is for parents to earn that respect. You know, it talks there about the hoary head. When a man grows older and his hair turns gray or silver, if it is found in the way of God's way, the truth, living the truth before the Lord will respect it. Which brings us now to some parents who may not recognize that they need to earn the respect of their children. There is no way that parents should be on an equal footing with their children, in the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they move, the things they desire. Parents need really to be upright. Give our children a chance to earn respect for themselves when they themselves become parents. So it's a lovely morning again, and this is just a quick snap. I had some coffee, it's really all done now. This is a cup that was given to me on our 45th anniversary. So that'll be 9 years ago. And it says Lance. But you know, bit by bit, all these things are just unraveling. All the little imprints. The flower recently shifted. I kind of stuck it back a bit. But this is life. It's not going to be there forever. So what you want to do is you want to leave a record. You want to leave behind something that is permanent in people's minds. Mama, I wish you were here with me.
I'm sleepy.
You're sleepy? You're right, girl. It's weather for that.
The ice, you know, this is kind of early for me.
Too early for you? Okay.
I feel a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all right.
But love to everyone.
Yeah, man. Great.
Have a great day.
Very good.
I feel a little sleepy.
Very good. So, folks, I think I would just end it here. I don't have my companion with me, Mama Lou. She is very sleepy. And this weather is going to make it a little more difficult. If you were living in the country now, mangoes, if there are any, would be falling to the ground. And people would be gathering them, you know. I remember when I was in Coro there and it was raining, I would listen to the mango falling on the ground. And I had a little niece living next door, and I knew she was listening also, and I was very young at the time, so she was much younger than me. But I knew she liked mangoes, and she would just get up and get out there. So it was always a race between us to see who could gather the most mangoes. Poor little thing. You know what that expression means? It meant that I gathered more, but then we would share. But the joy was to gather up things. Oh yes. So folks, do have a very good day. If you're on the road, be very careful. Don't speed. Watch out for others. You know, in NP, when they put up the pallets with all the lubricants, there was always a sign attached to the height, and it was always tack carefully, remember the next man. And really and truly, that's a good bit of advice. Remember the next person coming behind. watch out for the other one coming behind, because you are also behind someone else. So take good care. Enjoy your day. Be safe. Smile a lot. There's still a lot to smile about. Good weather, good health, good life. So thank you once again.